action.
Welcome, friends. Thank you again for watching and listening to the Optimal Health Program. Hope you're all doing well. As you know, we're going to chat about a variety of important things. Today, we're going to touch upon NAD as being a critically important component for your cellular function, energy, mitochondrial benefit, repair. It's one of those things that's everywhere in your body, and we'll talk a lot about that. Some great articles. We even might pop up on a split screen a picture of the article, which is like 40 pages. And this, I think, was in PubMed or NIH, talking about the role of NAD in what we call regenerative medicine. And then another great article about NAD metabolism and cardiac health, aging, and disease. Great stuff. So in a few minutes, we'll pop those up. We're going to revisit a little chat on diabetes because we got such an overwhelming response on Saturday's podcast from our wonderful Rumble and LFA followers and listeners and watchers. The comment I think we need to make, because of the extreme numbers of diabetes occurring across the world, is that what do we do right now to prevent these problems from hitting us in the future? So we want to prevent people from becoming diabetic, not allow it to happen. And unfortunately, people just don't have this idea or mindset, and they're not thinking of preventing diabetes because they're not diabetic, and maybe they think, oh, my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother had it, and it's just not staring them in the face like the research is. I mean, absolutely, the research is overwhelming. So we have to talk to everybody about looking to prevent diabetes going forward. Everyone. Keep the carbs down, lots of exercise, test your vitamins, minerals, hormones, learn about your body. If we start to see that your hormones are dropping, correct them. If your carb intake is too high, cut it back. If your sugar's going up, triglycerides, cholesterol going up, deal with it. Hit it now so you can do it more easily and it becomes more of a lifestyle for you than waiting until you're diabetic and then getting stuck on meds while you get worse. We want to prevent it as well as reverse it. And that's what we talk about with the comprehensive medical nutritional approach and with the addition of stem cell therapy to get new cells into your pancreas that will become pancreatic cells that make insulin. So very important part of the process. And I'm going to talk about prevention on every program. We may talk on the next show about prevention of musculoskeletal disorders and joint issues, and we may talk about prevention of intestinal and gut-related issues. There's a lot you can do by learning about your body and kind of working with that and going forward. So we'll touch upon that as well. Different strategies for diet, for exercise, we'll cover all of that so people can have this information going forward. We're also going to take each podcast and highlight it on my website. I have to speak to the web developers today about that so that when you go to the website, you could actually see and watch each of the podcasts. So important to have people be able to see this. And we're getting record numbers of people watching the podcast. And it'd be almost interesting if we could have like a clicker thing on the website to see how many people or how many views we're getting cumulatively. Because if we're getting over 100,000 now, and last week was 180,000 on the Saturday show, and it's been 100,000 over the past couple of weeks and months, and midweek, we add all this up, the numbers just keep going higher and higher. So we anticipate within a couple of weeks, and maybe this Saturday, we want to break 200, 220, 250,000 views, which we're thrilled about. So
Yeah, we got someone in the chat saying they loved the episode on Rumble, and they sent it to a few people who they know have diabetes. So.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. The more we can educate people, the more we can get people out there doing the right thing. And, I've done this for the better part of 39 years and radio for 35 years. People would send the information out, get people to exercise again. People watch the, program, look at the website, listen to the old radio program, etc. So I had an army of people that were just doing all the good things to keep themselves healthy. So that's really what I'd like to create. And again, with fine-tuning your vitamins, one of the most important things you could do is your vitamin blood test, because if your vitamins are low, free radicals will damage every part of your body. Your cells and organs are not being fed well, so Even if you can't get to the office, call the office, do a telehealth visit. We'll get a prescription to you for blood work, go over that with you, and then put together your perfect vitamin recommendations. As we talk about the vitamin pack, it's simple. You open the pack, you take the vitamins that I've put in there for you for breakfast and around dinner time. Then after a month of being on that recommendation, we recheck your low vitamins to prove you're in the perfect range, applicable for everybody. So everybody can take advantage of that. The Garden City office is 516-794-0404. Website, drcalapai.com. Okay, so let's look at also Sermorelin. Sermorelin is a peptide that enhances your own ability to recreate your IGF-1 levels. IGF-1 is important because it helps with memory, focus, concentration, hair, skin, nails, sexual drive and function, muscle strength, and endurance with exercise. So it walks your body back to when you had it and you were doing better and better. Great for fat burning, especially when you do the exercise. So some great articles about that. We'll put that up on the website as well. But as I say, we want to walk you back 10 or 15 years or so to where your body had great hormone levels, vitamin levels, you were doing the exercise, and once you put all this together, you can see some wonderful changes in your body. And I've done this on thousands and thousands of people over the past few decades. So I know what will happen as you start to do this, because I've seen people from every walk of life, every type of overweight scenario, people with all different medical concerns and problems, and especially for people who need to lose weight, burn cholesterol, lower their sugar, burn triglycerides, lower their blood pressure. This is what we see every day. I see all day long people that have these sort of core issues, and reversing it is the most important part of the picture. We are ready for comments.
Everyone's just saying hello.
Howdy. Hello, thank you for
in.
watching and listening in. So this is a great article. Talks about the role of NAD in regenerative medicine. And it describes the molecular and cellular basis of aging. And this has always been a great topic. And I've been in the anti-aging realm for many years. Got my board certification in anti-aging medicine in the 90s. And the idea was always important to me to make sure your cells get what they need and to try to make sure you get rid of things that your cells don't need, like heavy metals. And of course, I may be the only one talking about heavy metals, but, you know, all over the internet, you have people selling this product, that product, blah, blah, blah. But no one's talking about learning about your body first and then making recommendations. So when we talk about NAD, it's one of the most important cofactors in your body. It's a major controller of how oxygen, once you get the oxygen to your lungs, can get into ATP, the energy molecule. Your one molecule of oxygen makes 36 molecules of ATP. That goes back to high school science, I think, for some of us, or college science, especially if you're bio or pre-med. But looking to keep the NAD there gets more energy because the oxygen is converted to that. So this is critically what we need and what we want. So as we talk about the cellular benefit for all of your cells and all of your tissues, it's pretty phenomenal. A wealth of evidence, and you could look at many, many thousands of studies on NAD because it has always been there. It's always been around. Helps with cellular metabolism, very important for your mitochondria. Helps to slow the aspects of the aging trajectory. Important with innate repair of your cells and tissues. Works in virtually every cell. And then there are graphs and charts. Sometimes they're a little hard to understand for people that aren't looking at this. It's great for skin, decreases skin aging. Also important for memory, focus, concentration. NAD decline is found in virtually every part of your body: liver, skin, brain, plasma, skeletal muscle, macrophages, monocytes, which are important for your immune response. Chronically low NAD levels have been observed in accelerated aging disorders and a variety of disease states. So we know what's been going on, and now the recommendations are pretty obvious. And the NAD serves as a co-substrate for different enzymes that affect cellular repair and energy. the sirtuins, sirtuins, and the polymerases. And these are things that you want working all the time to keep your body in good repair.
Question here. Do people who exercise a lot or eat clean have higher NAD levels naturally?
No, it's not affected by food and it's not affected by exercise, but if it's there and your diet is good and your exercise is good, you'll get far greater results because you're delivering it to your body. And at the same time, it's like, I try to make analogies like you go out to a great meal at someone's house or a restaurant or whatever. You're eating protein, you're eating some vegetables, you might have a little bit of carb, you're having something to drink, liquid, all good things for sake of discussion. If the exercise is there, it's amazing delivery. If you're taking in good proteins and you have the NAD on board, then you get better benefit to your muscles. So it's like I don't want to say smorgasbord, but it's sort of like that. Your body's getting all sorts of good things at the same time is what you want to do.
Can I comment? Biden could have used some NAD in the last couple of years.
I don't think there's a syringe big enough. Some people need to bathe in it. But yeah, I mean, glaringly obvious that they pushed this poor individual with certainly significant medical issues to fit their agenda.
Insanity.
I'm trying to be polite.
Yeah.
Because I don't like things that he said and done. And there are videos of him saying things with, I don't know how he said this years ago, with the N-word and with other,
It's wild.
Horrible. So back to NAD, yeah. So improving a wide range of different things in all of your cells. Cellular senescence, when cells get old and tired and they stop working, occurs with low NAD. So as you correct that, those cells will start to regain their ability and their function. Helps mitochondria, genomic stability, your genes. So the list goes on and on. Proteostasis, good protein utilization and delivery and function throughout your body. Telomere, it helps telomeres, immune response. So the list goes on and on. That's why we like to have so many people learning about the NAD and doing the NAD. There are oral non-NAD capsules, which are meant to give you a precursor or something that's within the pathway, which is nice, but you're not getting the same benefit as if you're giving a direct amount of NAD sub-Q getting into your blood vessels in your fat. And those people where we do that injectable, people say within 10, 15 minutes they feel it. I feel it. I do it. I'll take it before I do a decent amount of exercise. Usually I take it in the morning to start the day. That's when you're meant to have a lot of it there. This is part of the article, target for cellular aging. So this kind of goes on and on. These are the things I've just been reading from. So very important. I like these graphs too. But doing the injectable, you get a great result. You do 0.05 ml. So if you look at a tiny syringe, and these are half cc syringes, the markers go up to 50. A 1 cc syringe, the markers go up to 100. So you're either taking 0.05 on either syringe, which is a small amount. Some people work their way up to taking 0.1, which is a tenth of a cc. Some people do it every day. Some people do it every other day. But the benefits are pretty significant. No risk or side effect because your body's always seen it. So
I think you just answered it, but someone just wanted to know how often do you have to take it?
Most people start every other day at 0.05, and then we watch to see how much better they do. Then we might go to 0.1, and then some people would do it every day. I do it every day. The more mentally and physically active you are, the more you might need to do it. But the oral precursors are not giving you NAD. They're giving you a precursor that your body may or may not convert well into NAD. So that's why we go directly with the sub-Q injection. As I say, for some people, it makes a world of difference, especially, as you get older and your memory, your focus, your concentration's not as good. You won't feel that you're repairing cells or repairing DNA because that's part of what it does, but you feel that focus, concentration, get up and go. A lot of people will describe that, yeah, I've been taking it and I just want to go for a walk. I want to go do the activity because now I have that energy back. And again, if you'd like to get on and read articles about it, you can. There are tons of articles on NAD. I typically tell people to go to Google Scholar. So that's where a lot of the great information is.
Someone's just joining, just said, wait, is this only injectable or can you take pill?
The capsules and the pills are not NAD. They're precursors. And some people don't get the result from that, or they don't feel anything. But everybody that we've recommended and taught how to do the little sub-Q injections with an insulin-sized needle in your leg or your belly fat area, will say within 15, 20 minutes, I'm ready to go. I feel like I'm on. It feels like they've had a few cups of coffee, but you don't have that jittery sort of side effect from the coffee. So I think it's a great mechanism. I think it's a great idea, and we recommend it for a lot of people. Another excellent article talks about NAD metabolism in cardiac health, aging, and disease, and I think we have that one as well to show you up on our camera here. Do we have that?
Yes, got that right here. This guy.
So this is a terrific article from the Journal of Circulation. It can't get more prestigious than the journals that I look at and I go to read these things. So it talks about NAD is essential metabolite involved in energy and redox homeostasis, DNA repair. What else repairs DNA? No drugs repair DNA. The inhibition of degrading NAD enzymes, supplementation of NAD, talks about a variety of things within this study. But they use NAD for people that have heart failure, major cardiac diseases. They like to show that they use it for helping to preserve ejection fraction. It's essential for the mechanism of cellular reproduction. Free radical damage, and it probably makes sense to talk a little bit about that. Free radicals are unstable items that float around in every part of your body, every millimeter. And a free radical needs to steal an electron from your tissue to neutralize its charge. That's its only reason to live. It's this aggravated, floating around, irritating thing that can damage your cells. And if it steals an electron, it causes oxidation, but it reduces its electrical charge reduction. So gain of electron reduction, loss of electron oxidation. Back to high school and college chemistry. So oxidation is bad for the tissue that was just damaged, and the more oxidation that occurs, it's like pulling bricks out of a wall. Sooner or later the wall crumbles because the bricks are gone or have become so damaged that the cells break down and die. It's called the apoptosis, cell death. So antioxidants, which we all know about, vitamin antioxidants, stop the oxidation. They may grab the free radical and neutralize it so it can't damage your tissue. Brilliant. And that's what a lot of vitamins do. Vitamin C is a huge antioxidant, a variety of them. And also with NAD, helps to stop free radical damage. That occurs all day, all night, 24/7, all the time. So the more nutrients you bring on board that have antioxidant effect or benefit, the better. Because you're taking away that damage by stealing that electron.
Someone just mentioning, wait, did you say it fixes your DNA?
Yeah, there's research that shows that NAD helps to repair DNA. This is the first line of this article from Circulation. NAD is essential metabolite involved in energy and redox homeostasis. Redox is all the free radical discussion, as well as in DNA repair and protein deacetylation reactions. So DNA repair, absolutely. And it'll say that in virtually every article about NAD. So this is something everybody should think seriously about, learning about or getting on and watching to see your benefit.
Someone said, sounds great for anyone who took the jab.
Absolutely.
DNA regarding?
Absolutely. In a very broad way, and we can narrow the discussion down, You want to learn about your body, put all the best things you can into your body. The best foods, most organic foods, not processed junky foods or chemicals. Get your vitamins into perfect range by doing the vitamin blood test. We put that together for you, recheck it to make sure your vitamins are perfect. Do a lot of exercise. You don't have to go crazy and run marathons, but do something every day, half hour, 45 minutes. As I've always said, walking around the block, indoor, outdoor bike, weights, Pilates, yoga, any activity you like. Just continue to do these things so that your body has a better chance of repairing itself. Get the NAD on board. If IGF-1 levels are low, correct sermorelin. If your thyroid's low, let's correct that. And most doctors that test thyroid only look at two things, T4 and TSH. You have to look at T3 and all the other components of thyroid. So it's a bigger discussion when we talk about what you can do to help to maximize and optimize your health. Look at a blood and urine test for heavy metals. If they're there, get them out of the picture, because heavy metals will damage your organs, your brain. They're correlated with a variety of different problems, including Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, various cancers. So there's a lot going on that you don't realize unless you look at some of these tests. So again, once you get this bigger, better view of your body, you can then put together the best foods, the best nutrients, the best exercise, fine-tune, work with that, always adapt, change, do as many different types of exercise as you can because your body will acclimate to that. You'll get better results doing multiple different activities as opposed to just doing one activity. Some people love to swim, some ride a bike. The list goes on and on. We have friends that play pickleball or play softball indoor and out year-round. I mean, the more you do, the better. Keeps your body young and healthy. There's no doubt about that. We've known that for
And that was basically this question we
forever.
got. If someone's already healthy, is NAD still worth it?
Absolutely, because what does healthy really mean? And what will happen to that healthy person over time? They're going to age. You're going to see some changes, and your body will lose some of what you had. But if you take the NAD, for example, and you put that into the right range, you'll do better and better. And even within a couple of days, you see the NAD creating that benefit. So it doesn't take a long time to see the result. So the question of being healthy is also something that I have a little discussion or comment on. I have a lot of patients who come in that are healthy. They're not on meds, and they don't think they have any problems. Yet, when you look at their blood work for their vitamins are low. That's not healthy. If your vitamin D is 20, it should be close to 100, and low is 30 or 32 on the blood test. Low vitamin D increases your risk for heart disease, free radical damage, cancer, osteoporosis. The list goes on and on. So the person may feel good at the moment, but if their parameters are not showing that in the blood, then that's not necessarily a healthy person. Also, people over time, what I call a continuum, which would be a variety of things happening over a relatively long period of time, I ask them, how did you feel 5, 7, 10, 12, 15 years ago? What activity were you doing then? And invariably, they did more, they felt better. So although they say they're healthy, they've lost some ground. So we want to regain that ground. We want them to be able to walk 5 miles again and flood their cells with oxygen, vitamins, minerals, hormones, NAD, etc. We want them to regain the function they had before, because there's a great deal of evidence that that prevents age-related progression and loss of function. So some people sort of settle in, almost like a plane landing, at an airport. You kind of function was up here, and then you just kind of settle in. You're doing okay, but you want to do it where you're in an amazing state rather than just being able to coast and kind of do okay. Then, of course, we can do testing to look for plaque in the blood vessels. If a person's got plaque in the carotids or in their, vascular tree around your heart, the coronaries, or their legs, or they have valve issues, then you might feel okay, but you're not healthy because you have issues that are progressing. You may not feel them, but they can be a significant part of the problem.
Just real quick, can you move your phone from that side to the other?
Yeah, I
I'm
have
getting
to, I guess, right?
I'm getting some feedback.
Get some feedback.
The wireless. It's the government listening.
Probably. They haven't sent me any notices yet.
Someone said people say NAD is like rocket fuel.
Pretty much. I mean, I can tell you how it works, for me. So, and I tell people that I wouldn't recommend things for people that I didn't already evaluate thoroughly or that I don't already do. So I know how I feel.
Someone just asked, do you buy it in just a bunch of packs if you're going to be taking it every other day? How does that
typically
work?
you get a bottle that lasts a few months, 3 months, and we show you how to take the tiny little syringe, pull back the tiniest dose of liquid, and give yourself that tiny little shot in the skin next to your belly button. The one common thing that everybody says is like, before they do the shot, they're like, oh, a shot, they're worried about it. And they say, oh, it's going to be difficult. I said, no, watch. So I show them how to do it. They pull back this tiny droplet of liquid, because 0.05 of 1 ml is really, really small. A drip coming out of your faucet's like probably 10 times bigger than this drop. So, and they give themselves a shot. They're like, oh, that was it? I'm like, yeah. Oh, I didn't even feel it. I said, yeah. That's what I've been trying to say. So then they start to feel it. Some patients will sit there and wait in the office, whether they're doing something else, allergy testing or whatever. And they say, wow, I think I feel it. I said, well, what do you feel? I feel alert. I feel focused. I can do math in my head, for a lot of people that their brain is slowed down a little bit. You start to see that happen relatively quickly. So
that's wild.
It's pretty consistent. I mean, the overwhelming majority of people say the same thing. And it's true.
Is there any research on it preventing dementia?
Now, dementia can be caused by different things. So let's look at it that way. If the dementia is caused by heavy metal damage of your brain cells, it's not going to prevent it, because the metals will overwhelmingly damage those cells, cause some cells to die, and decrease the ability to make your neurotransmitters. If dementia is caused by low thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, IGF-1, etc., or plaque in the blood vessels, there's vascular dementia where your blood vessels are just narrowed down. You're not getting the flow. I don't anticipate you'd see a full result, but I think if you look at it as I do in that way and you fix all of these things, you'd get a far better result. It depends upon how many cells have been damaged or how many cells have died. If you have a lot of cells that have been damaged or have died over time, the ultimate mechanism is stem cell therapy, because you're putting new cells in. You're answering the question of cellular loss and death by putting brand new cells in that make the neurotransmitters. So that's by far the greatest benefit for dementia and memory loss. But I use all of these things at the same time, in the same breath. So for people that have memory loss and dementia, I wouldn't just do their blood test and say, here, take B12 and nothing else. We correct all the vitamins that are deficient. And if their thyroid's low or any of the other ones are low, then we correct their hormones. It's correcting, every part of the picture, which is also different than the traditional approach, because a lot of the traditional approach is, here, take the drug. They never talk about vitamins, never talk about heavy metals, never talk about anything else. And people look at me with this blank stare and they say, well, why don't they do that? I say, because it takes years to go to every really good conference and years of getting on the computer every day to find great articles and studies and digging, and try to get a better way of improving the causes of your body, covering every base, than just saying, here, take the drug. And every patient I think I've seen, why are people bothering me now? Every patient I've seen, typically the relatives will say when they've taken the meds, they just aren't doing any better. So I say, well, do you want to stay on the meds if they're not making them better and they may be getting side effects? So people opt to get off the meds and do the natural.
Craziness. It's all about the money. Someone just said, it's all about the money.
Well, people will understand much more of that now, because we have people working in the administration that are working for the people and that are helping the people and that are creating and liberating a great deal of knowledge that was never seen before. So stay tuned. Hang on to your hat, buckle your seatbelt, and watch to see what's going to come out.
Not even a year in.
Truth will come out. People will be shocked. People will be amazed at what they're going to learn, which is a good thing.
I'm interested to find out the statistics after just the first 3 years on, because of this Tylenol talk. I wonder what any of that means anything.
Just the question therein of Tylenol having negative effects. Tylenol's been around for a very, 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 very long time. And people were taking Tylenol like candy for, I don't know how many years. I mean, it's got to be around for at least 50 years, right? Can you see how long Tylenol's been around for?
I'll check.
And they never correlated taking Tylenol with all sorts of people.
Over 100.
Over 100 years. I was off by half. It's not too bad. But, they never correlated before. And 100 years ago, was there any autism? No. And 90, 80, 70, 60, 50 years, 40 years, was there any of it? No. But Tylenol was used probably more than almost any other drug because everybody used Tylenol for aches and pains or fever or whatever they were using it for, So you've got a pretty gigantic track record, just like aspirin. And why are they now saying that it may correlate with a negative outcome in pregnant women? It is possible. But why didn't it do that before? For all those years. Is it a deflection? Maybe. Only more good, solid research will tell us what's the real contribution of taking Tylenol during pregnancy and how many do you have to take to maybe have something happen that's negative. Yet, they still want to deny injectables that have 20 or 30 components that are not supposed to be there, aluminum, mercury, all sorts of things in there that are problematic. They just don't want to take the time to research that or to call that the potential negative. But research will come out.
Yes.
More will.
Someone in the chat is saying, I wish more states were like Florida, where vaccines for children were not required in schools. Until that happens, I'm sure this will continue to be an issue.
Yeah, so, a lot of people everywhere are waking up and want to see and learn and understand rather than just believe, what other people say. And once again, in this conversation that we have all the time, and people always comment on it, what's the instance of autism in the Amish population? None.
Goose egg.
What's the instance of all these other diseases, even as they get older? None. How is that possible? Because they're not putting stuff in their body that's dangerous. People are becoming more aware, and they are not satisfied with typical answers. They want to see more information, the truth, and that's what their right is. You have the right to know and get to the truth. Trust me, we can handle the truth. We can handle the truth. You want the truth? Yeah.
Someone said, yeah, but the Amish doesn't get to eat chicken marsala.
They don't?
I don't know if there's a rule there.
I think have to find out what they eat.
Yeah,
right? I was almost wanting to be Amish at one point.
Oh, really?
But if the food's not as good, if it's not Italian food, then come on.
I would imagine it's like oats. Like, why oats come to mind? I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
they probably eat oats and grains. And do they eat animals? I'm sure they eat animals.
Gotta, right? No, now you got me curious.
What's the typical Amish diet like? Milk? Well, let me tell you. Let's comment about that. When you have all your own food and you make it, and it's without chemicals and preservatives and red dye 40 and all this other garbage, you're eating food that's really, really good and healthy for you. Hence the segue into my little comments about Moolah Farm, my favorite farm couple. Sal and Christine have a wonderful farm. And they've got a big place upstate. They go out to Huntington on Sundays, Garden City on Saturdays. I don't know when they go to Long Beach, but they do. And they have a little shed in Brookville where they have a freezer and a fridge. You go there, you pick out your stuff, you leave your money or Venmo or pay them, and you're getting pure, healthy, raw milk, organic, chicken, and because they do all this. They have chicken, they have goats, they have all these creatures on their farms. The beef is terrific. The eggs are unbelievable. So it's just a good way to get healthy organic food into your body and not rely on things that are necessarily super chemical included from supermarkets.
And interestingly enough, so obviously it says hearty, simple, and heavily based on locally grown whole foods like meats, potatoes, eggs, and whole grains. This is the Amish. But then it says Amish people enjoy pizza, spaghetti, lasagna, tacos, salad, etc.
There you go.
All right, then.
But they're not getting the stuff at fast food places because they're making their own grain, they're making their own tortilla, they're making all the stuff themselves. Why not?
Right.
Be really curious. Be nice to see what it would be like to go there maybe for a weekend or a couple of days and help to raise a barn.
They seem very welcoming.
Put on those coveralls, the hat, the clothes, like that movie with Harrison Ford.
I saw a picture the other day of they're just picking up a barn and moving it together. It's insane.
They're unbelievable. And I watched a video of them going down to the Carolinas where the hurricane occurred. And they built we spoke about this last time, a whole bunch of homes, albeit relatively small, medium-sized homes, but they built a bunch of homes in like record time. What was it, 48 hours or something like that?
48 hours. Yep.
It's amazing to me how good they are at carpentry. And I watch these Alaska shows too because it also fascinates me that these people can go out, a guy and a girl or husband and wife or a guy alone. There's one guy named Glenn, I think Villeneuve on one of the shows. He's a relatively thin guy. Of course, he walks, I don't know if it's 100,000 steps a day, but it seems like it. He has a shack that he built out of wood from the area. Dead trees that are fallen. He builds the cabin. He's got an old potbelly stove in there, and he's all set up, and he eats and lives and fishes, and he's on a lake, and, he catches fish every day, and he has berries, and he'll go out and get some sort of animal, a moose, which will last him for all winter. But I got to tell you something. This guy, he'll take a little kayak across the lake. So he's rowing across the kayak. Then he gets up with a backpack on. Then he'll walk for like an hour or two. Then go here, there, up the mountains, all over the place. I look at the show and I'm exhausted. I'm like, this guy's it's unbelievable how much he does. And then he'll go get the elk and he's got to dress it, bring it back, go get more of it, bring it back to the spot, it's just a massive amount of work. I've never seen anybody walk that much. Of course, he's as fit as can be. He's probably in his 30s or 40s, but it's unbelievable what they do.
Yeah, and someone said in the comments, the Outdoor Boys. I've watched them on the show. It's a dad and there's kids, and just watching how much work you have to do to cut down all the wood just for your fire to stay warm. It's just like...
And none of them have, except a few shows, big chainsaws, and they're living within and off the land, and they're off the grid, and it's pretty cool.
It's wild. I don't know if I could do it.
Not for an extended period of time, but I'd like to see what it would be like for, Yeah. And then, they take the skins of the animal, they make gloves and hats and all this stuff. It's, wow, they're a hell of a lot stronger and better equipped than most people are.
Crazy. Someone's just talking about the Amish said, since they're always working physically, I'm sure that helps with heart disease and obesity and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Physical activity is important, and people should do something every day.
Someone's wondering if they go to the hospital for childbirth. That's a good question.
I don't
think
believe so. I think they have midwives. I don't believe so.
Interesting. You got us thinking.
It's absolutely.
We may have to. There may be an on the road episode.
It's very.
We won't be answering your questions, but we'll be there.
Cool. I would do that. Go there and see what goes on.
Dr. Chris and
would do
Frankie
that.
head to Pennsylvania.
That would be great. It would be a dream of mine to have like a show like that.
Where you could just
Sort of
travel.
like Stanley Tucci has his Search for Italy show where he goes all over the place and eats the food with all these people that have been recipes around for thousands of years.
Like Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, Anthony Bourdain. I mean, that's the life. You get paid to go around and eat and travel and go look at all these things. I would do that. Let's see if we can make that happen. As the
Listen.
show gets bigger.
Keep sending it to
bigger.
your friends, people.
Yep. Let's make the show get bigger, then we'll go on the road. How much fun would that be?
Yeah.
You know, like the, what is it, antiques restoration people? Where they go all over the country and they find antiques, these beautiful things hidden in garages and cabins. But these people are just, some of the people they go to, they just hoard everything.
Yeah. You'll find some. Yeah. Don't watch the episodes. They go to Florida.
Yeah. Or in the Midwest, you know, they have 5 barns and there's like thousands and thousands of car parts. And one of the guys like, oh, yeah, that's a headlight from a 1935. That's what I was looking for. How would you even categorize all the stuff in these people's garages so that you would know online that someone's looking for this? They have to do that. I mean, how else can you make the show work? You know,
It's all in the
categorize this
head.
stuff. I don't know how, but I love looking at old motorcycles, old bicycles, old cars. That's a lot of fun for me because I like the mechanical ability to take an old car and bring it back to some, you know, wonderful restored shape. I did that for a couple of years when I worked at a body shop when I was in high school and I guess my first year of college. It was fun to take the cars down to the bare metal, grind them, sand them, perfect them, and then the guy that owned the shop would put on the Bondo and sand that down, and he would spray paint the car. And back then, he didn't really want to wear a mask, so he was like completely high after spray painting a car, and he'd like walk around, trip all over the place. I'm like, I begged him to wear a rebreather mask, but he didn't want to. And then I had the painful job, once the car was beautifully painted, of water sanding the car. So you would take either your hand in very, very fine sandpaper and just start to sand down the paint so that everything was flat. If you look at the paint as it's sitting on the car and you squeeze water with a sponge over it, you can see how it glistens, but then when you start to sand it, you're seeing that the paint is not laid down flat. You know, it's a little bit like tiny little bumps. So you're sanding those bumps down to get it mirror flat. And then once you polish it, which I would do as well, the car would look like a gorgeous, you know, piece of glass. And we restored a bunch of cars, older ones, and some of them won awards because the owner had the car meticulously restored. And it was a lot of fun to do, you know, to see it go from all banged up to a gorgeous car.
Yeah. And we kind of lost that with these new model cars.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do any
It
of
takes, yeah, takes a lot of work.
Gotta replace
That's
it.
why some of them, you watch the Barrett Jackson and the Mecum auctions, some of these restored cars that, you know, I saw when the cars, you know, were new in the 70s and 60s, et cetera. They're going for $200,000-$300,000, perfectly restored. It's like, wow. But you think of the amount of work that goes into that, it's a lot.
Yeah. And just a comment I forgot to hit here. Notice how the Amish don't have to deal with anxiety or depression or any of the stuff that modern society has to. Wonder why.
It's another really good comment. I mean, if you look at how they live and how long they live and how healthy they are, and they don't get all the illness, and, you know, it's a pretty amazing thing.
And being connected to like a group of people in that
Yeah,
way.
how strong they are, how tight they are within their family groupings and stuff. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I'm sure populations that have existed for thousands of years around the world, you know, that were ancient populations, had the same thing. And they were nomadic and they'd move around, and some people didn't move around. But you could look at, historically, there were populations that did a similar thing. Of course, they had to build their homes, whether it was huts or partially in caves or otherwise. You know, I love watching those shows where you're looking back at prior civilizations, and every time they excavate somewhere between Europe and Africa, they're finding a newer civilization that was Roman, or even before Rome was Etruscan civilization. And these people were masters at, what would you call it, technology or the ability. The Etruscans were the ones who taught the Romans how to make those arches that carry the water from the mountains down,
Right, the
into
aqueducts.
civilization. The aqueduct. I mean,
That's insane.
pretty wild. Look at the pyramids. Look at the Colosseum. Look at all of that. So there are populations that were really brilliant.
Yeah. I just remember being on the train in Italy. I think I was going to Naples, and I'm just looking out, and there's an aqueduct, and it's been, we've been following this aqueduct for like an hour and a half. I'm like, this is just insane.
Think of it for more than just a second or so. Some crazy Italian said, yeah, we got the water in the mountains. We got to get it down to the town.
Well, just
How
a
are we
little
gonna do-
slope, but
How are we going to do that with his hands like this? And then another one of his friends says, well, we can get some rocks and we could build and make this and that. And, look at Da Vinci, super, super, super genius. And they were way before Da Vinci, you know?
and the measurement tools you would need to keep that level.
And knowing how to keep the rocks with the pressure against each other, staying in that tight archway, and the water coming down in thousands of years, these structures are still perfect.
Yeah.
One of the shows was talking about the Italian cement, not the one where you make the shoes, in Jersey or in Brooklyn, but the Italian cement, when water would hit it, it made it stronger. So there was some sort of limestone ratio combination with what they did with the cement that it stood strong underwater. I'm thinking to myself, God, these people were geniuses.
Yeah. And then you were talking about all the different artifacts and, the things they dig up. I'm pretty sure the reason that in Rome the subway system is so horrible is because every time they tried to dig and make it further, they would find some ruin that they had to go around. They're like, we have to stop.
Yeah, more civilization from, and all the way into England. They've done it in England where they've excavated and they found, Roman and Etruscan ruins, and it just keeps going and going. And there are shows where you could walk down the streets of Rome. There's a lovely woman who's a travel person, and she has a show. And she says, if you ever walk down into Rome, go find this street, go here, make a right, make a left, look for this mark of the building, go inside, and the civilization, is 80 feet down, but you can walk where they walked, and you could see the water coming in and filling up the little pools. And, so you're standing in a civilization that's been gone for hundreds of, maybe 1,000 years. It's wild.
Wild. And we got a comment here. I love when the optimal health program becomes the optimal history program.
It
It's
just
my
goes
favorite.
completely off the rails. So that's what typically happens. We start to talk about so many different things. But yeah, so let's kind of work our way back towards, being healthy. In seeing patients for so long, and being able to track patients for 30 some odd years, we can see those patients who came in a long time ago that had great thyroid levels, DHEA, testosterone, IGF-1, female hormones. And then as they kept coming in, we start to track, oh, look, your estrogen, progesterone are dropping appropriate with age, your DHEA, testosterone, IGF-1, all of these things. Then we start to walk them back to where they were before, and then they regain that great function. So it's a pretty great overview of what happens with the average people over time. We also have people that I saw initially that really do a good amount of exercise, that eat right, that exercise, their vitamins are perfect. We've done that with them. And they're not seeing the significant changes that a lot of people do that haven't followed the plan. So they're in a better place with their bones, with their heart, with everything, compared to the people that did not follow. And some people do and some people don't. But fortunately, the majority of my patients are very intellectual, and they love the idea. They love eating up all of this, no pun intended. And they follow and they track. And, they want to compare year to year how they're doing. So we do that for them.
Any misconceptions with, these NAD? I've been taking a patch and it never worked, and I always knew it was a scam. Good to know that it needs to be injected.
I've never seen the patch work because there's nothing that said that they can prove that whatever's in the patch can get through the skin into the bloodstream somehow to create a result. Same thing with people that wear those foot pads that are expecting to detoxify their body, or whatever that term really means. What's in the patch? How does it get in? What does it grab? What is it detoxifying? What's pulling out? And then test to see that something came out that was bad. The difference in what I do with heavy metals would be we can check your blood to see what recently came in. We can check your urine, which is a reference of what has been leaking out of storage. Do an IV, pull metals out, see them come out into the urine. And then over time, as you do the IV, you repeat a urine after the 10th IV and compare the first IV urine and the 10th IV urine. And now you see how much you've depleted. That's proof. But all these other things, there's no proof. So people take a huge leap of faith in saying, oh, I'm taking this and I'm detoxifying, when they're not.
Someone said, I am guilty as charged with the foot bath. What a scam. I saw the thing next to me. It had no feet in it. It had the same muck in it. It's all a lie.
Yeah, so the idea is nice, and I'm trying to think of who it was that said it. Oh, Elon Musk. A while back he said, wishful thinking will get you in trouble. Because that wishful thinking that foot pad's going to work, or that this big deal is going to go through, or that something is going to happen, sometimes wishful thinking takes over your rational thought in your mind, and things don't pan out. So you want to be able to scientifically walk through the process and see stage to stage and step to step how that's going to work. That's why I use that example with chelation therapy, because you want to prove that you're getting the result, getting rid of things that are super bad for you.
Someone said, easy for the billionaire to say it's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Well, I look at a guy who's super smart like that, and I look at his comments, and I look at what he's achieved, and I can't even understand how he's achieved everything that he's done, because he's relatively young, but he's got to know something.
Oh, yeah.
And that comment in and of itself, when he said it, hit me. I'm like, huh, that's probably really true. Because people like to look towards the goal of something, but don't necessarily think about the process it might take to get there. Oh, I'm going to do this. I want to see that. This is the outcome that I want. But, sometimes between the beginning and the end process, there's not enough focus on it.
Yeah, someone said, I think he'll be a trillionaire by the end of 2026.
Yeah,
Might be.
I don't see the reason why he wouldn't, because he's come so far. I mean, he's certainly, and they say that he's got some sort of, variant, maybe Asperger's or something.
Yeah, I've heard that. He's on the spectrum.
But,
that's what you need to be.
I don't know how he did everything that he's done.
It's like Rain Man.
PayPal, I think he
was a part of that. Yeah.
Part of that, and the cars and the space and whew, it's just unbelievable. I know some smart people, but.
And I heard something last week that there may be a deal going on with him and Apple to have all the new iPhones have Starlink built in, so that you don't even need your Verizon or your AT&T.
Oh, that would be great. You know what?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Like if you're outside, you'll have service. Wow.
I'd be a big fan of that, because every phone I've had, and every good phone I've had, and this happens to me every year, and people think I'm crazy, but I'm not.
No, you're.
Every August, the phones start to just crap out. Drops calls, you can't make a call. You can't get signal, you can't get this, that. But it's good for about a year. And then August, September, they just go bad. And that's the time when the new phones come out. So it makes you want to get a new phone because, oh, yeah, there are new upgrades and new additions of this and that. But I don't know that many people who can have a phone for a very long period of time, for years and years, because they just don't work that well after a while.
And the battery craps out. They don't last.
So, yeah, it's built-in obsolescence. If he could do that, and I'm sure he will, because he has the ability to, he has the know-how, and he wants to do it. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And Apple will love that, because then everybody will go to the Apple phone with Starlink, and
genius.
You'll have no issues with your phone's reception. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, no more satellite phones needed. Like, do you have good service when you're hunting?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. It depends upon where the cell towers are. You know,
They should fix that.
yeah, walking up in the fields. Oh yeah, what a workout! 3 hours of walking up and down hills.
We're gonna have to show some
My
some
glutes.
video next
Yeah.
on Friday's show.
My glutes and my calves were exploding by the time I was done. I was walking like Frankenstein. Because literally, I walked for 3 hours with the guide, one of my buddies, and you switch dogs, but the dogs will constantly run and keep going, and they'll stop when the guide gives them some water, and they'll just keep running. You got to run after the dogs because you have to be right next to them. And they switch 2 or 3 dogs out, so it's just, by the end of it, I'm like, food, water. But yeah, that's why the NAD is so important. Gotta
Full
keep all that on
circle.
board.
Full circle.
What else?
Chat said, show us some hunting footage. Oh, we will soon.
There's some.
We got some nice POV shots going on.
Yeah. So I was just telling Frankie that I bought these Wayfarer Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses because they have the camera built into them, and you can talk to your sunglasses, take a picture, Meta take a picture, Meta take a video, Meta play music. It's all hands-free, and if you want, you could press a button and do all that. But it's pretty amazing because you could use it with every sport. You could do it with anything. You could take your dogs for a walk and do it. It's amazing to be able to see the clarity of the picture, and it just records the beauty of nature and where you are. So it's pretty amazing as to how that technology has increased, even in the past few years. It's just way, way ahead of everything else. So
Wild. I'll be getting them shortly. You'll get my producer point of view. I'll hook it
yeah,
up to
you
this.
can. Yeah, you'll
see
love it.
that.
It takes no time. It takes a minute to put them together. So I'll give you the overview. Get them, plug in the case. It's a hard case, and the glasses are in the case. There's a little tab that you have to pull out, like you're pulling out a tab from a battery. So get the case, plug it in, take out the tab. It charges the case and the phone, glasses. And probably takes an hour or two. Do that first. Then go on your phone to the Meta app. Get that set up where it says, Wayfarer, sunglasses. Get it set up in your phone, follow the steps, and all of a sudden you pair it, and then it starts to connect, and then it starts to work. If you try to do it without charging the phone or without charging the case, you'll sit there. If you don't have good service, you'll be driving yourself crazy for a half hour until you realize.
Sounds like that happened to you, Doc.
Well, yeah, because you're so excited, you want to get it done right away. And who wants to read instructions? But yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. They should give you the steps and say, because nobody gives you a paper that has the instructions really anymore.
It's 300 languages.
Yeah, you've got to look on a little code and hit that with your phone so that now your phone picks up the code and then will start to set the process. But it takes a little bit of work, but it's easy. It's fun.
We'll get that footage for Friday. Promise.
I may use it on patients in the office and tell them, hey, you want to talk about how well you're doing? Yeah. We'll
Click.
get some video. Click.
That's actually not bad.
The ease of the new technology world. Oh, another thing I want to talk about was the holiday season.
Coming quick, Doc.
So patients that need to lose weight always blame something on the holiday season. And I get it. And the holiday season can be from Halloween to New Year's. I said, even if it is, Halloween's one day. Thanksgiving, one day. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. And certainly Hanukkah is in there, and bless you, and New Year's. So you have all these other days that you could eat right and exercise and keep your carbs down. So if you start working now at doing the exercise, you get on your NAD, you do the exercise, you eat right, before the season hits, you're way ahead of the game. And this is what I tell all my patients, what I tell everybody. Start doing it now to create your good habits and your results. So, yeah, if you fall off your diet for Thanksgiving, you have turkey you could have. There's no issue with that. Some yams or mashed potatoes, chestnut puree, which we like to have in our family. You have things that are not really in your diet plan. You have some extra carb or stuffing. It's one day. It's not going to wipe out the whole 2-3 months. So past Thanksgiving, same thing. Low carb, exercise, eat right, exercise, blah, 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 blah. Then you'll be able to get through it without a problem. It works. So we've done it with people for forever.
Well, someone in the comment, I do agree with this comment. Halloween may be one day, but when you have not that many children that come to pick up the candy, you just have so much candy. I have this issue.
You gotta give it away.
I must eat it all.
One smart guy on Instagram says, why give kids candy when you can give them, it's a little rubbery ring that's got like a ghost on it. You press it and it flashes. It's like a cool little thing, and they have them for Christmas. And he's recommending giving away gadgets as opposed to giving away candy.
Have you seen that a meme? It's like on a bunch of Italian pages, but it'll be just a bowl of gabagool. It's like, take your gabagool.
Oh, yeah, gabagool, Ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
That's the
people
holiday.
should just give away gifts, get rid of it. Don't need to have candy sitting around the house. No kid is going to walk up and want, celery and carrots and, vegetables and vegetable dip.
No.
So you can't put that in the basket.
I do it. I'd enjoy a nice little,
Yeah, a little crudité.
Yeah,
Some Italian snacks.
exactly. Some salami. Are you kidding me? I'd be the happiest kid.
True.
We need to change it up.
We should make Halloween into an Italian appetizer.
Yeah. Parents would
Might
be
work.
happy.
That
to
might
do
work. Okay, vitamin pack we spoke about. RPM, we haven't spoken about, but we'll chat about that for a moment. We're in a process of creating a mechanism where we can set you up with a blood pressure cuff, glucometer, a watch, and it looks at all your vitals. And every day the watch reads your cardiac, your heart function. You can do a little exercise bike and, track your heart rate and rhythm. You can check your sugar every day. You can get your blood pressure every day. These devices come to a data collection and send this right into your page in our computers. So we have blood pressure results on you every day, which is genius. And for people that have issues with, chronic disease, if we can see a lot of blood pressure readings and we see if you're up or down, we can fine-tune and improve your picture that much better. And also send this to your primary care, your cardiologist, your other doctors. So Medicare is overwhelmingly endorsing and recommending very strongly that people that have Medicare do this so we can prevent those crashes or those big problems where you have that big ER admission, which Medicare doesn't want to have to pay a lot of money for. So remote patient monitoring, remote therapeutic monitoring, there are a variety of offshoots of this. Typically, as we put the patients on board, we get them set up. We show exactly what their blood test shows, review that, get them on the device, and then as that is gathered, review it with the patient. It's terrific. It's the best idea I've ever seen for people that have chronic illness. And they're expanding this. So sooner or later, you'll be able to go sit down in a chair. It'll look at all your vitals. You could wear glasses that read your brain waves. And this gets sent to us, and all your vitals are monitored. It's just a brilliant, brilliant idea. So if you have Medicare, regular red, white, and blue Medicare, give us a call at 516-794-0404, and we'd love to help you out.
It is the future. The future is upon us.
The future's here. The good part of the future's here. I'm sure there are some bad things about the future, but with some diligent work, we'll be able to prevent the bad things from happening. All righty. God bless you all. Have an amazing day. We'll be back here again Friday and Saturday live. So if you'd like to see the big show, the really big show, Saturday, front page, home page on Rumble, 2:30 on to whatever time we decide to finish. You'll be able to see it right in the big screen. And we're hoping to break over 250,000 views. We were 180 without any difficulty last week. So we're on a big roll. Thank you so much for watching. Tell your friends, your family members, send it out and about. And call us or email us. We'd love